Everyone, it's Steve from Sneaker Tech Talk, back with another video today. For today's video, we will be taking a look at the performance review of Austin Reeves' newest shoe, the Rigorer AR2 Fusion. Alright, so I have spent around 11 hours in this shoe so far as on-court play, coaching, and just wearing them out and about. I've played, 15 plus games in them as far as pickup games, and I have enjoyed my time within this model. One thing I do want to mention is I had some comments on my last video of them as far as the packaging, the socks, and the shoes. Now, you will receive that packaging if you are one of the first 1,000 people that purchase the shoes with the special packaging. I'm not sure if the retail price is going to stay at 120 or go back to what they were last year at 100, but I do think this is a very fun basketball shoe and something that I will be keeping in my bag for some time here in the future. But as always, starting with the bottom of the shoe, you do have this translucent rubber outsole, and you are getting a herringbone kind of pattern running throughout the bottom of this shoe. Now, on clean floors, these are fantastic. A great bite, a very loud squeak, and really no hiccups as far as any of my movements on court. I was good to go. Now, they do struggle a little bit more on dirty floors. As you can see on this yellow outsole here, they do pick up quite a bit of dust here on the bottom of the shoe, and I wiped a ton with these just to kind of keep the kind of overall traction pattern from performing really nicely and preventing myself from sliding out. I did slide out once relatively badly, where I slid out around 6 inches across the floor, but after that I did wipe every 4 or 5 plays and I was good to go. But that is one thing I want to note: these do collect a lot of dust on dirty floors. Clean floors, you won't have any hiccups at all with the AR2. So I enjoyed my time in them for the most part as far as the traction goes, and that's why they're going to score a pretty solid 8.5 out of 10. As far as the cushion goes, in my opinion, that is this shoe's biggest upgrade from last year. Now, last year they did have that ETPU style foam in the forefoot as kind of like a pod, and then just an EVA foam running throughout the rest of the shoe. Now this year, you get this super chunky ETPU style foam compound at the back of the shoe. At the midfoot here, it just runs full length. At the medial side, it is fully kind of uncaged, and this setup is super bouncy. Very nice and plush underfoot. At the heel, you get a ton of bounce and impact protection. At the front of the shoe, it is pretty close to the floor. So I really enjoyed my time in these, and it's more or less the same that you're getting from Adidas with Boost, Way of Wade with their boom setup. So this is a very nice addition to Rigorer's lineup for the AR2. In my opinion, the shoe's biggest upgrade was the cushioning, and I thoroughly enjoyed this setup. Like, when I say it's soft and plush and offers some really nice rebound, it's awesome. So very nice setup here on this with the cushioning, with the full-length ETPU. I do believe they might be calling it the Showtime cushioning, but it's basically just your standard ETPU foam with kind of those plastics that are infused in it, which makes it very bouncy underfoot. And that's why they're going to score a very solid 9 out of 10. As far as the fit goes, that's one thing with this shoe. I did ask for a 10.5 or 11, depending on what they had, because they did send these over. I did prefer a 10.5. Because last year I believe they didn't even make 10.5, whereas this year they did. Now, the brand did send me a US size 11, so my toe is basically right near the end of the shoe right here, and then the forefoot is actually pretty wide foot friendly in my opinion. I really had no pinch points from the overall fit. Now, for me, once they broke in, I wouldn't say they became a little bit more loose, but I think I just would have preferred that half size down for a snugger overall fit. Because in the forefoot, I did feel like there was a tiny bit of dead space where I would have just preferred kind of like that super snug lockdown fit. But in my opinion, these still work for me up half a size from my usual 10.5 in Nike and Adidas. But if you have your option online to purchase these, I would say stick true to size. Whether you're a regular or a wide footer, you should be good to go. Because for me, even going up half a size, My toe is right near the end of the shoe right here. I just found that there was a little bit more volume in the toe box. Very snug fitting shoe. You have some nice padding at the back. You kind of have this neoprene portion here on the tongue, and it is gusseted from the midway point down, so it is a very snug and secure fitting basketball shoe, and that's why they're going to score a pretty solid 8.5 out of 10. Now, as far as the materials go on this model right here, keep in mind this is a $120 basketball shoe from Rigorer. The materials are really nothing special. Starting at the back, you do have this patent leather material, and then you have this very scratchy screen mesh at the back also. Moving your way down from that, you do have some embroidery for that kind of butterfly portion here, and then a lot of fuse kind of at the toe box, at the base of the tongue, and running up the eye stay. And then some more of that kind of like Leno weave material Jordan Brand was using with those TPU strands running throughout. It's really nothing special. It breaks in pretty quickly, but I did find it to be a little bit bulbous, or a little bit of extra room here in the toe box, and it doesn't quite sit right down on my foot. I do think with a size 10.5 it might have done that, and honestly very breathable. Like, this tongue is paper thin and it has a ton of perforations right here, so again, you're getting a pretty cheap screen mesh patent leather with some embroidery running throughout. It breaks in rather quickly, it's very minimal and very breathable, and that's why this material is going to score a pretty solid 8.5 out of 10. It was very enjoyable on foot. As far as the weight goes for the AR2, again, this is a US size 11, and these come in at 14.75 ounces, so all things considered, in my opinion, this is a pretty lightweight basketball shoe. One other thing I really enjoyed with the cushioning setup is underneath the insole, you have this kind of mesh strobo board, and then you have that eTPU foam directly under your insole. So you're kind of getting that feeling directly under your foot. And then the insole is really nothing special. It's kind of like a really thin memory foam or EVA kind of running throughout. It is perforated right here, but my favorite part of the cushioning is definitely having that mesh strobo with that eTPU style foam compound directly under your foot. As far as the support goes within this model right here, I definitely think they get the job done. Now, starting at the back of the shoe, you have a pretty rigid internal heel counter, which definitely does a good job of locking your foot in at the back of the AR2. Moving your way down from that, you do have this TPU kind of plate right here that wraps up from the midsole up near your arch of your foot and down at the back. So that's there to help prevent your foot from spilling over the side of the shoe on those hard lateral cuts. And in my opinion, it does a pretty darn good job. And then obviously you have those screen mesh and kind of fuse rand materials, which are very strong for those hard cuts as well. And then at the bottom of the shoe, you do have this full length shank plate right here. It is kind of mimicking a butterfly right here, as you can see. You can see it a little bit more on the yellow translucent outsole. It is a plastic material. It starts right here and it kind of goes all the way to the front here and then through the midfoot. So as far as the torsional rigidity on this shoe and kind of the spring back effect, you do get a very nice sensation underfoot and a lot of support to boot. So I think this is a very supportive basketball shoe. Me being about 220 pounds at 6 foot 2.5, all of my movements I could make with confidence, and really no hiccups with the supportive features within this hoop shoe, and that's why they're going to get a very solid 9 out of 10. As far as the overall looks and execution with this colorway and design, I absolutely love it. I think it's a huge upgrade from last year's shoe. Now, I'm not usually a huge fan of mismatched basketball shoes, but I think with the pink and kind of neon yellow, they did a fantastic job of just the materials, the colorway, and design running throughout. I really like this design. This is something I will be keeping on court because the performance is really awesome. The price point is great. And these are something that's just going to stand out when you have them on court, with the yellow upper and the pink outsole, and then the reverse portion on the right shoe, the yellow outsole with this super bright pink portion here. I love the patent leather hits at the back. I just think they did a very nice job as far as the design and overall colorway. I'm very much looking forward to seeing what the brand comes out with for future colorways. But this one right here, the Fusion colorway, is on their website right now for 120 USD. They come with that box, the socks, and obviously the shoes. I think it's a great bang for your buck basketball shoe from Rigorer here right at the end of the year here in 2024. So that's going to do it for today's video on the performance review of the AR2 from Rigorer. Sound off in the comments what you guys think of the aesthetics and overall performance features within this hoop shoe for the $120 price point they are offering these at. Sound off in the comments as well if you guys are willing or looking forward to picking these up here at the end of 2024 or maybe into 2025. I do think it is a very viable option from the brand at a great price point with some really nice cushioning. But as always, if you guys could like, comment, and subscribe, that would definitely help the channel a ton. And check out my Instagram over at Sneaker Tech Talk, as it is an extension of my YouTube channel with all my pickups, basketball footage, and nostalgia as a whole. As always, thanks for watching today's video, and until next time, peace.